Hello everyone, it's Tana. Welcome back to my channel and another video for the Rabbit Hole Designs. Today we're working with the No Lion stamp set to create 2 cards. So let's get started. I don't know if you guys just heard that rumble, but that is thunder. That's right, thunder outside. Okay, so I have one image colored up and it's just the mane with the lion's face. And I'm just going to run through everything I stamped out ahead of time. And these won't be in today's video, most of these, but they will be in future videos. Now I'm going to take this other stamped out lion. And I'm going to, he's on black cardstock. And I'm going to use my Perfect Pearls to color him in. So while you're watching that, we have 2 sentiments in the No Lion stamp set. I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss you, and you're roarsome. So those are both really cute sentiments. I hadn't used my Perfect Pearls in, excuse me, quite some time. So I wanted to, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So in this month's videos, excuse me once again, I'm concentrating on watercoloring and the Perfect Pearls. The watercoloring, I use my glitter, like metallic and glitter watercolors. I do use some regular watercolors. And the image that I have already colored, that was done with Copics. But I don't show that. So, doesn't count, people. Doesn't count. And you don't see everything that I color. The next video, give you a little bit of a heads up on what that's about. I'm going to use the Merry and Bright stamp set, and we're going to do lined versus no line coloring, and I do that with colored pencils. So that's the next video. If you guys watched the new release video, you know there's 4 stamp sets in this month's release. Not just No Lion, but also Celebrate, Succulent Life, and the Merry and Bright stamp set. The Succulent Life images I also colored with Copics off camera. So now all my talking has led you through most of this coloring in with the Perfect Pearls here. Now I did go over the outline of his mane with another outline when I outlined his body, because those are not colored in, and I end up cutting that off because it just made the mane look too thick. So moving on, we're going to make some backgrounds here, and I pulled out the Amanda cover plate and I did 4 backgrounds. I did 1 in purple, well 2, so 1 in purple and then the negative, 1 in green and then the negative, and I'll have all the colors of foil down in the description box for you guys. And after I have all of those and it was all said and done, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to use, I think I only ended up using 1 or 2 of them, and the other 2 got put away with my stash of backgrounds to keep for a rainy day. So I'm pulling out my very antique and old, I guess you could call it a decal edge trimmer, and I just trimmed off the 4 sides of that. I still have not gotten around to putting measurements up at the top of that thing. It does not have any measurements, so I basically kind of wing it when I use it. And then I'm going to take some more of that shiny Erin Lee black cardstock, and I'm stamping out my sentiment on there. And now originally I did it with holographic embossing powder, and that Erin Lee black, like shiny cardstock, embosses like a dream. But I ended up doing it, I think, with gold embossing powder, and that's the one I ended up using. So for this first card, I did not use a sentiment from the stamp set. I used the Adventure hot foil and word die, and then Is Calling from the Adventure stamp set. Now I'm using a piece, it's actually double-sided mirrored cardstock, and I think it came in an old Spellbinders kit. Not sure where it came from, but we're going to use that as our frame mat for our background. And after that's all glued down, I'm going to pop the entire thing up with foam tape. Now I just got some more foam tape from Amazon, and unlike my red foam tape, the backing on this stuff peels off like a breeze. I was so happy with it. So now I've got 3 layers of cardstock behind the word adventure, and that pretty much equals out to a layer of foam tape on the back of the lion. That way they're both at the same height. And I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to put the rest of the sentiment, and it didn't exactly fit underneath because I wanted to make sure the lion didn't exactly stick way up over the top of the card. So I just put it on the inside of my card. Use my T-square ruler to make sure it was nice and straight and even. And that's it for card number 1. Card number 2, we're going to pull out our stencil butters, and I believe this is citrine, but I will put the name up on the screen for you guys. And, you know, I'll have everything listed below. And I pulled out the Amanda stencil, which, by the way, it turns out, which I did not know before this card, that the Amanda stencil perfectly lines up with the Amanda cover plate. It's not like the garden trellis where it had to be resized to be turned into a hot foil cover plate. The Amanda one actually works with hot foil plate. So just wanted you guys to know that. You don't see that on the video because I didn't end up using the panel that I used both on, but just thought you would like to know. So I took some Catherine Pooler Lime Ricky and I ink blended my card base front. Just put a little bit of tape up there to make sure it all stayed on the front of the card base. And then I sprayed it with 2 different kinds of glitter sprays. I think Frost and then Avery's Clear glitter spray. And then some water because I wasn't getting the effect that I wanted from the sprays. And then I heat set that. Oh, now it's pouring, guys. I can hear it hitting the roof. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That should be fun. Okay, so we're still waiting for the panel and the card base to fully dry. So I'm going to stamp out my sentiments here. And I'm using just a leftover piece of green that seems to match my citrine background. Now I have foam tape on the back of that front panel there. And I'm going to add a little bit of Bearly Arts glue to it so I make sure it stays on that sprayed and ink blended card front. And I used if I forgot to mention, I used an arch dome die from my stash to cut that one out. Now I'm going to line up my sentiment, your roar some. And then I'm going to adhere the lion's mane and face on foam tape and add that to the center of the panel. Then I'm going to take some glossy accents, and I did his nose, the center of the flowers, and then I wanted to do all the leaves as well. I thought maybe it might have been too much, but it looks so pretty. I don't know if you can see it in the photos though. My photos never do my cards justice. I need to learn how to take better photos. I am definitely not a photographer. And that's it for the second card, guys. I hope you guys like everything you saw here today. Don't forget to sign up for the Rabbit Hole Designs email to be aware of all the new releases. Don't forget to check out the Facebook group and Rabbit Hole Designs on Instagram, if I can speak, to be aware of all the new inspiration daily from the design team. And we'll see you next time, guys.